Amended POCA more effective in combating crime. Tan Sri Isa Samad placed under arrest. You're watching the evening edition of News on 2. A very good evening. I'm Adrian Seat. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the Prevention of Crime Act, or POCA 1959, has gone through 4 major amendments for improvements to make it more effective in combating crime. He said it concerns mainly with organised crime and crime by syndicates using force and violence, and to be in tandem with the current developments. Speaking today, Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid said the 4 amendments were limiting the powers of the Minister, establishment of the Crime Prevention Board, use of the electronic monitoring device on those under watch, and extending the law to Sabah and Sarawak.
Sejak penguatkuasaan akta ini pada tahun 2014 hingga ke hari ini, negara kita telah dapat mencapai tahap keselamatan negara yang terkawal, iaitu bebas daripada ancaman jenayah kekerasan yang amat ketara, dan saya ingin menyebutkan sekali lagi bahawa kadar jenayah menurun kepada 47%.
After 2 years enduring a long and difficult process, today Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi finally launched his book Prevention of Crime Act, POCA, Nafas Baru Bantaras Janaya Book, or A New Lease on Crime Prevention, which detailed his involvement in reviving the Act. Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid said the book centres on his experience and knowledge of being directly involved in the process to breathe a new life into the Act, which was established in the 1950s. He added that the process started with long discussions during a cabinet meeting, followed by a series of engagements with the public at town hall sessions. According to him, seminars and forums on crimes were also held to get views and responses from the people on the Act, while each and every view voiced by the people from all walks of life was studied and debated at the Dewan Rakyat and Dewan Negara.
Kami harus lakukan engagement, di mana kami telah melakukan beberapa siri town hall discussion, siri percambahan minda, brainstorming session, siri intellectual discourse, wacana intelektual, bersama dengan para ahli akademik, pegawai penguatkuasa, lawmakers, intellectuals, masyarakat sivil, serta rakyat biasa, terutamanya daripada NGO. Kenapa kami bersusah payah? Padahal kami mungkin hanya boleh berbincang dengan bahagian draft Pegawai Negara, Jabatan Pegawai Negara, tapi kami tidak melakukan begitu. Kami mahu rakyat tahu.
The book, which is priced at 100 ringgit per copy, contains 5 chapters and 315 pages, including detailed explanations, pictures, tables and diagrams related to POCA or POCA, published by the Institute of Public Security of Malaysia. Former Felda Global Ventures Holdings Berhad, or FGV chairman Tan Sri Isa Samad, was arrested today when he turned up at the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission headquarters. His arrest was to facilitate the ongoing investigation into Felda Investment Corporation hotel purchases in London and Kuching. Tan Sri Isa was arrested at 2:40 p.m. when he presented himself to have his statement recorded in connection with the probes into the purchases of the 2 hotels. MECC Deputy Chief Commissioner for Operations Dato' Azam Baki, who confirmed the arrest, said the arrest was a follow-up action based on statements recorded by the investigation team on the purchases of the luxury hotels. He added that MACC is confident that it had a strong basis to carry out the arrest to help in concluding the investigations. Last month, MACC opened investigation papers into FIC's purchase in December of 2014 of a 4-star hotel in Kensington, London for 330 million ringgit. The price was believed to have been far higher than the market value at the time, causing FIC to lose millions of ringgit. Later, MECC also began probing the purchase of a 4-star hotel in Kuching, which was also overpaid in losing millions of ringgit. A former assistant officer with the National Anti-Drugs Agency or AADK branch in Brickfields was charged with accepting bribes amounting to 3,000 ringgit as an inducement not to take action against two individuals who tested positive for drugs. Amza Wahid, 29, was charged with committing the offence at a car park in Jalan Sentul Pasar at 3:30 p.m. on January the 7th of last year. He was charged with accepting the bribe from Abdul Rashid Jaafar as inducement to help cover up a case involving Abdul Rashid and another individual, Sharul Nizam Ramli, who had both tested positive for amphetamine. It was also an inducement not to send the two individuals to a drug rehabilitation centre. Amza was also charged for 2 counts of soliciting 1,500 ringgit from Sharul Nizam and Abdul Rashid. Both offences were allegedly committed at 2 p.m. on October the 5th, 2015 at the AADK's Brickfields office. Amza is charged under Section 16 subsection A, B and Section 17 subsection A of the MACC Act 2009. Judge Madiha Hairullah allowed bail of 15,000 ringgit with one surety. The case is set for remention on September the 15th. Now, 2 men were charged with killing their friend last month at the Kulai Sessions Court today. Now, the accused, Hon Li Ting, 32, and Chen Pei Hua, 33, were accused of killing Lam Kok Po, 28, in Kampung Melayu, Jalan Besar Kulai Simpang Renggam, Bukit Batu Kulai, between midnight and 2 a.m. on July the 16th. The duo nodded when the charges were read before Magistrate Ahmad Farid Ahmad Kamal. The accused were being charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code simultaneously with Section 34 of the Penal Code, which carries a death sentence upon conviction. However, no plea was recorded from both the accused. The prosecution was represented by Inspector Muhammad Ruslan Muhammad, whereas both the accused were represented by counsels Muhammad Abdul Qadir and Yap Chi Kai. The court set October the 16th for case mention. 2 Indonesian drug traffickers were nabbed in a rented room in Jalan Abang Galau, Bintulu yesterday. According to Bintulu Police Chief Superintendent Zailani Amit, during the 3 p.m. raid, police found 13 tubes containing crystals believed to be methamphetamine. Now, the 2 suspects, aged 21 and 23, were operating in Bintulu for over a year and admitted to trafficking drugs around the old Bintulu market area. Police estimated the drugs weighed 53.12 grams. The case is now being investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. 33 illegal immigrants, including 4 children, were detained by the Marine Operations Force under Ops Landai, conducted at Bandar Penawa, Kota Tinggi on Sunday. All those arrested, aged between 1 to 46, were attempting to get out of the country through illegal means. Region 2 Marine Police Force Commander ACP Paul Q. Kun Chiang said all of them were rounded up at Watermelon Farm in Tanjung Balau, Bandar Penawa, Kota Tinggi between 11 p.m. and 12:15 a.m. In the first raid, 10 men were arrested despite trying to hide from the authorities. An hour later, 23 immigrants comprising 17 men, 2 women and 4 children were detained after authorities scanned through more areas within the vicinity. Initial investigations revealed that all of them had no proper identification documents and had overstayed. They were then taken to the Bandar Penawa Police Headquarters for further action under the Immigration Act 1959-1963. The Pulau Pinang Immigration Department detained 22 foreign women in a raid yesterday. The 10 p.m. raid was carried out by the immigration team based on a tip-off by the public, apart from constant surveillance for the past week. The raid on the entertainment outlet in Jalan Burma also found that the foreign women had misused their social visit passes. Working as guest relations officers, of the 22 women arrested, 3 were from China while 19 were from Vietnam. Led by State Immigration Enforcement Chief Kawaja Bantli Navas Muhammad Hanif, those detained were aged 20 to 40 years old. All those detained were sent to the immigration depot in Juru, and the case will be investigated under the Immigration Act 1959-1963. Pollution from a factory operating illegally in Kampung Tok Subo in Pulau Pinang had prompted the villager Ong Chin Giap to lodge a report to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commissioner MACC. The incident had also led to almost all members of his family to contract a skin disease. Now, the report lodged was to urge the MACC to conduct an investigation into the factory in question, claimed to have been operating for 24 hours compared to the normal time allowed of up to 6 p.m. only. He urged for a quick inquiry to be made as no action were taken despite repeated complaints made by the public.
Bau dia selalu keluar. Biasa hari-hari pukul 11 sampai petang pukul 6 yang kuat lah. Itu masa paling kuat. Kadang-kadang malam pukul 1 sampai pukul 3 pun ada bau.
He was met today with Parti Rakyat Malaysia Chairman Tan Hiang Lai at the MACC headquarters in Pulau Pinang. A Nepali worker sustained burns to his arm and feet in a fire that broke out in a furniture factory in Alor Star, Kedah yesterday evening. In a statement, the Kedah State Fire and Rescue Department disclosed that a team of 17 firefighters from Alor Star rushed to the scene upon receiving the emergency call. Alor Star Fire and Rescue Operations Commander Muhammad Haikal Izwan Muhammad Nasir said the quick action of the firefighters managed to contain the fire and stop it from spreading further. Volunteer firefighters from the Kuala Kedah, Bukit Pinang, Seberang Nyonya and Simpang Kuala fire stations also assisted in the operation. The victim was sent to Hospital Sultanah Bahia for treatment. The cause of the fire is being investigated. 3,016 petrol stations nationwide have collaborated with the Royal Malaysian Police to become an accessible place for people to go to seek aid in case of emergency under the Go to Safety Point program. According to Bukit Aman Crime Prevention and Community Safety Department Principal Assistant Director, SAC Dato' Sun Teo Tia, under the GTSP program, the public can seek early help at any participating station. He noted that the dealers and employees of these stations have been trained to handle emergency situations, be to provide emotional or physical aid to the victims.
Pihak Serkat Minyak telah ada 262 kalilah orang awam telah pun pergi ke stesen minyak untuk mendapat bantuan kecemasan, ya. Dan macam-macam ada yang pergi kerana telah menjadi mangsa jenayah, ada yang pergi dapat bantuan oleh kerana menjadi mangsa kemalangan.
Depending on the nature of the emergency, the dealer can then contact the nearest police station and other emergency services. There are currently 1,065 Petronas stations, 960 Shell stations, 560 Petron stations, 420 Caltex stations, and 11 BHP stations participating in the GTSP program. A total of 227 cases regarding the misuse of new media, including social media, websites and blogs, have been investigated throughout 2016 until July of 2017. Of the total, 19 cases have been compounded, while 8 cases have been prosecuted and convicted. Deputy Minister of Communications and Multimedia, Dato' Jailani Johari, said that for this year alone, the ministry has identified 2,000 fake accounts, of which action were already taken on 75% of them. They included sanctions and shutting down the fake accounts.
Untuk tindakan penutupan akaun palsu akan dilaporkan kepada pihak penyedia perkhidmatan media sosial yang kebanyakannya berada di luar negara seperti Facebook dan Twitter berdasarkan pelanggaran terma dan syarat yang ditetapkan oleh mereka sendiri.
Elaborating further in Parliament today, Dato' Jailani informed that the ministry is also undergoing a comprehensive review of the provisions under existing laws, especially regarding penalties on conviction. A joint effort will also be made with NGOs and the private sector to raise public awareness about the ethics of social media users. 229 individuals were arrested for involvement in illegal logging in Peninsular Malaysia from 2006 to 2016. 256 illegal logging cases were also recorded during that period, involving forest revenue losses of 15.2 million ringgit. Deputy Natural Resources and Environment Minister Dato' Hamim Samuri said the ministry is implementing various strategies to curb the issue, including adopting new methods and equipment such as drones and satellite observations.
Aplikasi yang terkini yang dipakai adalah aplikasi FMRS, gabungan remote sensing, GIS dan juga GPS. Ini yang sedang digunakan. Maknanya kita memakai semua aplikasi terkini. Dan pada masa akan datang, jika ada yang lebih canggih, malah sebenarnya dah ada pun, kita bekerjasama dengan semua pihak.
In 2015, the total forest area in Malaysia is 18.25 million hectares, with 12.47 hectares being in Sabah and Sarawak, while the remaining in Peninsular Malaysia. Now, the general public can be the eyes and ears in assisting the authorities to report anything suspicious from a security aspect throughout the 2017 SEA Games. Defence Minister Dato' Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein enforces that the Malaysian Armed Forces, ATM, and the Royal Malaysia Police, or PDRM, will unite in ensuring the biggest sporting event in the Southeast Asia region is free from any violent threats.
Ada juga pihak-pihak tertentu yang ingin memalukan kita. Dan ini pertimbangan-pertimbangan yang saya percaya berada di dalam pemikiran pucuk pimpinan. Dan saya sendiri tak ambil mudah. Bukan saja persiapan tapi perjalanan Termasya Sukan SEA kali ini.
Dato' Sri Hishamuddin was speaking to the media in Parliament today. He said at the Defence Ministry level, the sharing of intelligence between neighbouring countries are constantly carried out to ensure no suspicious individuals would enter the country. Coming up next, German companies keen to collaborate with local SMEs. This and more in a moment. You're watching News on 2. Thanks for staying with us. German companies have shown an interest in collaborating with local small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, following the government's effort to integrate Industry 4.0. According to Tapio Management Advisory Chairman Bernhard Schrute, German companies are looking to forge cooperation with local SMEs in the aerospace, automotive, biotechnologies, petrochemical and electrical sectors.
This joint venture between Bavaria, Germany and Malaysia can bring Malaysia to a completely new level. And I think this excitement will slowly coming to Malaysia, and this will raise the whole level of the standard of living in Malaysia. Because if you have quality people that have quality jobs, that have quality salaries instead of low salaries. And this is one of the main important things that we want to achieve.
Via the partnership, local companies are guaranteed an increased position in the global market with a German quality branding, while still having full control of their products. Meanwhile, Malaysian Investment Development Authority, or MIDA CEO, Dato' Asman Mahmud, said German investors' continued confidence in Malaysia is evident from their decisions to expand and diversify existing operations in the country. In 2016, MIDA approved an additional 21 manufacturing projects with German companies, involving investments of 2.65 billion ringgit, which created 44,833 jobs. The Education Ministry is committed to enhance students' higher order thinking skills, or HOTS, in a bid to improve their performance in the mathematics subject in the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia or SPM examinations. This includes organising courses to help develop the teachers' competence. Deputy Education Minister Dato' P. Kamalanathan said the ministry was in the midst of developing a teaching and learning resource, the Hayati Eksplorasi Berfikir Aras Tinggi, or Hebat, for mathematics, based on the HOTS concept. The ministry is also training the Hebat trainers to expand the use of the Hebat modules.
Kita sedar bahawa pencapaian mata pelajaran matematik sejak 2-3 tahun ini menurun. Tetapi harus kita ambil maklum, kohort pertama, pelajar-pelajar menduduki PT3, menduduki SPM pada tahun 2016. Kohort kedua akan menduduki tahun ini. Dan kita rasa pelajar-pelajar kohort kedua ini akan mencapai pencapaian matematik lebih kerana mereka lebih berpeluang untuk menghayati kebat dalam semua mata pelajaran.
Dato' Kamalanathan stated that the ministry was also constantly monitoring the use of the HOTS materials in schools. The King Salman Centre for International Peace, KSCIP, is already attracting interests from many countries, including the United States and China. However, Defence Minister Dato' Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein said involvement in the centre's activities have yet to be formalised, as discussions need to be conducted with the co-chair of the centre, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed Salman Al Saud.
Jadi kita kumpulkan semua pandangan-pandangan mereka yang ingin menawarkan diri untuk terlibat secara langsung. Bagi saya, lebih inklusif lebih baik. Sebagai on the board of trustees, maybe tak terlalu ramai, tetapi kita dari segi kemahiran dan kepakaran lagi ramai lebih baik, supaya kita dapat gembelingkan semua pengalaman mereka di luar sana, supaya ini betul-betul boleh jadi center untuk kita counter ideologi.
KSCIP, which began operations at its temporary headquarters in Kuala Lumpur in May, is expected to be fully operational in 2 years' time. And that item concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, Tan Sri Isa Samad placed under arrest. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more updates. Thanks for watching. Join us again. I'm Adrian Seed signing off.